Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are joining across Africa and across the world. Good evening. We'd like to start with this statistics training course, Scientific Data Management short course that is organized by RTools Secretariat. My colleague, Professor Majaliwa, is joining online. I would like to bring to your attention that this program and training is a result of an initiative that RTools is in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation through the Transforming African Agricultural Universities to Meaningfully Contribute to Africa's Growth and Development, TAGDEV 2.0. It's an initiative that is aimed at enabling at least 126 young people to access a transformative education from across Africa, as well as ensuring that we are able to transition at least 255,000 young people to the world of work. And on top of that, to ensure that our universities are able to deliver and help create value to 820,000 smallholder farmers, as well as value chain actors in the agri-food systems. Collectively, the initiative brings together 12 primary implementing universities from Africa in 10 countries, but with the potential to engage up to 60 African universities to deliver on this transformative journey. RTools, as a coordinating entity that is leading the collaborative, is therefore putting together some of the initiatives that are able to engage not only the 12 and 60 universities, but the broader framework of the RTools network of 170 universities across 40 African countries. This statistics and data management training is one of these initiatives. With me and with us today for the year's opening is our program lead at the Mastercard Foundation, Ms. Pauline Gangler, who I'm welcoming to provide the opening remarks for this session today. Pauline, I welcome you to give your remarks, and then thereafter we will move on with the setting of the training agenda for the week. Over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Gero, for the overview and the welcome. And good afternoon, everyone from a warm Nairobi. It's good to see you in large numbers, coming together to learn something that will take you places. I've seen universities that say education takes you places. And this continuous learning is actually what we need to stay ahead of the curve. So I do bring you greetings from the Mastercard Foundation and to appreciate our long-standing partnership with RTools through the TAGDEV program, which Anthony has described. As you know, soft skills are the personal attributes that influence how well you can work or interact with other people. And so these skills are usually less about what you know, but more about how you apply that knowledge that you will gain in real-world situations. But when you look at the technical skills context, we all need to be able to demonstrate capabilities to solve practical problems around us. And so statistical and data management are important skills for decision making. And these are tools that you will need in the workplace and at home. And we continuously need to update that knowledge and skills that we get from those tools. Why are soft skills important for us? It just makes it easier for us to form relationships with people, to understand how data works, but also to be dependable, knowing that this is the information that I have, that this is what I need to do with the information, and it can help me to make a decision and can also help others to make a decision. But soft skills also enable us to become a lot more productive, collaborative, and to create an environment where we make decisions based on what is coming through the data that we receive. Soft skills enhance teamwork, but it also helps to build and maintain constructive relationships. It helps us to grow as professionals in our different areas. As you see, this course that you're undertaking cuts across different sectors and professions. And again, it helps us to gain the confidence that we need to undertake our assignments. Finally, it's about analyzing data and information for decision making. And so there are many soft skills, including the one that you're just about to get onto. But as you know, the World Economic Forum and other platforms have listed so many soft skills that we continuously need to update so that we can stay ahead of the curve. So again, this includes problem solving to enable us address and overcome challenges, creativity and innovation to help us develop ideas, collaboration so we can interact with other people, and then effective communication, both listening and speaking, but most importantly, the body language that speaks more than the words that come out of our mouth. To emphasize team working, but also integrity and the work ethic, leadership qualities, time management. So even if you're a pro in analyzing data, but you're not able to keep time to submit information as and when required, then it becomes irrelevant. But again, this data helps us to make decisions, and digital literacy is becoming, again, a big one. AI, coding, big data, but also statistics and data management. So I'm really pleased to hear that this is what you're embarking on. But when we look at it in the context of the future of work, the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report for 2023, that report listed the top in-demand skills that we all need by 2027. And these include analytical thinking, creativity and innovation, and then AI and big data. And so leadership and social influence and curiosity learning are among other skills that we need to meet this growing demand of skills in the workplace. Again, that report says that 6 in 10 workers will require retraining before 2027. But also, only half of these workers are seen to be having access to relevant and quality training opportunities. So again, I want to thank our partnership with the forum because it continues to provide opportunities for us to upskill or to learn new skills that will enable us to be effective in the workplace. And so therefore, this effort within the context of our partnership with the forum is an effort to position you and other early career scientists in Africa to be competitive in the labor market. Please use this opportunity to step up and to set yourself up for success. I want to wish you all the best, and back to you, Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pauline, for the wonderful words of encouragement and for the opening. Thank you for pointing out the importance of using these platforms for growing the relationships, for building the analytical capacity and the use and the relevance of data in decision making, and the kind of skills that are required in the 21st century, beyond just the technical skills, but also appreciating the need for soft skills as critical embodiments for success for many young people. Thank you very much for highlighting the need and the top demanded skills that are within by 2027, the skills around analytical capacity and analytical skills, and all those wrap-up skills that are important for young people to succeed. I would like to hand over to Professor Majaliwa, who is my co-program lead at the RUFORUM Secretariat, upon which these short skills enhancement trainings are coordinated in his unit as part of the broader RUFORUM operations. Professor Majaliwa, over to you, and then to the trainers to kickstart the training. I must say that, colleagues, we will be having this training for 1 week between today until Friday, and so it will be at the same time. So please do keep time, and thank you very much for keeping time. We are already past 1,000 participants in this session today. And I appreciate that. We would like to keep on this opportunity open for all. We have an open window ability to host up to 3,000 participants on this platform. With these so many words, I would like to pass over to Professor Majalwa. Professor Majalwa, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Anthony. Thank you for the introduction. And Prof. Anthony for the good words you have actually spoken for under this particular training. So we have, as you said, this training which will take place from now to Friday. Then we'll have the French version, which will start after this week, starting on Monday, also from Monday to Friday. And in June, we will have an advanced version of the same course. So this again to request that the participant also attend the advanced course. So we have three people who are going to take us through this particular course. These people have been doing this for the last 10 years, so they have got sufficient experience in actually doing the course on the continent. So we have Thomas Odong and Susan and Helen, who will take you through this course for the next 5 days. So Thomas and Helen and Susan, kindly are welcome, and please take us through the course. Thank you for coming and assisting the young people.
Thank you very much, Professor Anthony, Professor Majaliwa, and Pauline. We thank you, participants, for logging on to this course in high numbers. That shows how important the course is. We welcome you to the 5-day course and request you for your attention and active participation when it comes to practicals. I also would like to thank Roof Forum for the opportunity of funding this organizing and also sourcing for funding through MasterCard to fund this process. We really appreciate and thank you very much. I hand over to Dr. Thomas Odong and then Dr. Helen. Then after Helen, I have a brief overview for what this course will entail. Thank you very much.
Hello. Yes, good afternoon, good morning to everybody. I'm called Thomas Odong. I've been connecting this course with my colleagues, Professor Susan and Ellen. We hope that you're going to benefit through this training and enjoy yourself in the process. Thank you very much.
When you will have to reduce whenever he's speaking. Yes.
Hi everyone, it's great meeting you all. I'm looking forward for an interesting training. Thanks so much for the forum for this opportunity again to serve and give back and share the knowledge that we've acquired for quite now some time. It's always interesting to share with others, and I'm looking forward for a fruitful training. Thank you and welcome everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Helen and Dr. Thomas Odong. Let me share the brief overview of this course. Okay, thank you, everybody. This course is called Scientific Data Management for Postgraduate Students and Young Researchers using R programming language. And would like to tell you the objectives of the training, why it was organized, the specific objectives, our expectation of what you would gain from the course. And then later in the week, we are going to present the results from the questionnaire that you received. The overall objective of the training is to enhance the efficiency of the flow of agricultural information and research, in particular to achieve the following objectives: to understand the different procedures related to design of experimental stroke survey schemes. We also assume that the students will be able to implement correctly the different statistical techniques at all stages of research and present their findings in coherent and effective way. The course will also enable postgraduate students and young researchers to acquire not only the technical skills and knowledge necessary, but they also get knowledge which will ensure wide dissemination of their research output as peer-reviewed publications. They will also inform policy as well as improve the quality of their research publications. The specific training objectives that we put up include equipping participants with knowledge and skills and downloading R, RStudio, R packages, and installing them on their computers. Then we also equip knowledge and skills in importing their data from different formats and into R, and then manipulate their data before doing any data analysis using interactive commands, since R supports matrix arithmetic and data structures such as vector, array data frames, and lists. Students will also be equipped with knowledge and skills in using R Markdown, where they can store the different R commands, write R scripts, which can be converted into PDF or Word document or PowerPoint. Learn different efficient technical techniques used in data visualization, applied in R programming language, that they can relate to their data sets, as well as being able to produce quality publications. They'll gain skills in using R programming language to analyze their data using inferential statistical tools such as correlation and regression, categorical data analysis, and generalized linear skills if time allows. Now, the expected outcomes. What we expect students to have gained at the end of the training, they'll be able to explain the fundamental concepts behind experimental and survey designs and statistical data analysis, apply key statistical concepts such as correlation and regression, then use R programming language to describe, analyze, model a state of knowledge or biological systems for both quantitative and qualitative fields. Now, the results of the pre-training assessments will be presented later. But to give us more insight in what your expected outcomes are, I would like to request the participants using the chat and also the Q&A to list 2 expected outcomes. You list them, we'll pick them, and then present them later. What are your expected outcomes? So I'm going to stop sharing. That is the end of my presentation. And thank you very much. But I would like to know what your expectations are. So I'm going to go into the chat. Make sure you write only expectations, nothing else. So I'll go to the chat. Please write only expectations. And my colleague Thomas will also go to the Q&A and pick the expectations. And also Helen who can go to the chat and pick them. So please go ahead and write. It's only 5 minutes. Somebody says they want a certificate. I've written it down. Modeling, participation. Moving so fast. I would like also to request me too to save for us these answers as they come in, their expectations, because we may not be able to pick them as fast as they come in. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes.
Once you have gotten these expectations like this, whether we can design an online survey.
Sorry. We have a few seconds to close so that I can hand over to Dr. Helen Namaweche. And I would like to thank you for responding. I can see very many responses. Thank you very much, participants. This is really great. We are going to share the output of the expectations probably tomorrow when I have put them together. But from what I have seen, some people want certificate, others want to learn modeling in R, others structure equation, data management, share slides, that is automatic, we'll share slides. Master R, you're going to master R, so long as you're attentive and practice after the lectures. Use of t-tests will do that. And I think a remote sensing, that one I'll put a star. Machine learning a star. Data analysis and certificate, yes. Somebody wants to gain competence in using R. Okay, Anova, thank you so much. We now close the chat and the responses are going to be saved and we will summarize them and present them tomorrow. So I would like to thank you. I think let us close the chat, all of us, close Q&A, because when my colleague Helen comes in, she's going to start with how to use R and what does R do. Thank you very much, participants. I am so excited. I am so happy to be here to share knowledge with you. And I hand over to Dr. Helen, who is ready here, smiling already. She seems more excited than me, but that's her nature. Thank you so much. And I hand over to Helen.
Thank you so much, Professor Susan. I welcome the participants on our day one. Maybe about the material, there is a Google Drive that we've been sharing. Kindly pick it up. So we'll be updating it on a daily basis, depending on the materials for a particular day. So we'll be putting materials for the respective days, because somebody was asking if we can send emails. But given the numbers, it might be hard for us to share with everyone. So we can use a Google Drive, and then you just pick it. All the materials will be there till Friday. Okay, let's get started and get to understand what R is all about and how can it be very interesting to support you when you're going to do your data analysis. Remember the soft skills they have talked about in the opening remarks that are necessary within the 21st century. Okay. Yeah. All right. So for day one, we are basically going to learn about the introduction of R programming language, and what we are going to learn within our first part, how to download and then install R and RStudio. I want to have at the back of my mind that not everyone knows what R is. We could be having some participants who know what it is, but I want a scenario whereby everyone is put on board, such that as we graduate throughout the week, everyone can at least be able to know that how to download, install R and then RStudio, because you need to first understand what the program is all about. And then after understanding what the program is, you can easily do the different statistical tests that you've shared within your expectations, the t-test, the ANOVA, the structural equation modeling and all that. Understanding that the program itself is important, and then later the coding will come in very easily. Okay, so the first concept that we are going to do right now, we are going to see how do we download and then install R and R programming language. So we need to understand what these two are, and then we'll be able to continue with the program. So there are different scenarios on how you can download R. There are two things. You have to first download, and then at the same time, you need R, and then you need RStudio. So what we are going to do right now, I'm going to take you through how we can download R, and then after that, how can we download RStudio? After getting that, then we are going to push on and see what is the difference between the two. How are they used, and then why is R and RStudio relevant? So that is the next step that we're going to do. In a nutshell, what this particular slide shows about the two programs, the R and then the RStudio. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and then we go through how do we download R. It's just a very simple process, provided you have internet, because you need internet to download R and then RStudio. But the moment you have the program on your computer, you don't need internet anymore, even if you're in a remote place. Okay, for now, I'm going to stop sharing this, and then okay, so what we do when you go to when you go to Google, within your URL, what you can do, you just go there and type download I said there are many ways on how you can download R, but depending on what really works for you, because we learn differently. You just go and then you write the word download R, and this time around everything is easy. You just write download R, and then after that, you see that when you write download R, you're going to come up with this particular window. And then the next step would be, the latest version of R right now, it is R 4.4.0 for Windows. Maybe there are some people who have got already R on their computers. We can also update them. You can update your R. As we move along, I'm going to show you how you can update your R to the latest version. But in case you're having R already and it's not updated, the latest version is 4.4.0. And sometimes, in case you still want to update, the easiest way, it is just to install a new version of R, and then it will replace the old version that you have. So what you're going to do, you're going to come and click on download. This where I'm clicking, you click that download. And after that, the moment you click it, it's going to open for you this particular page, okay, which has R-4.4.0 for Windows. And then you come and click on download R for Windows. For those that have got the ones that are using Mac, it's a different procedure. But for now, let's go for the part of the Windows. So in case you click this particular download R for Windows, if you click on it, what is going to happen? It is going to, you need to check in your downloads, okay? When you check under your downloads, it's going to give you a system whereby it is showing you that it's downloading. If you have, for example, mine, it has downloaded. So the moment it downloads, you need to click on the installation file. And then after clicking on the installation file, you follow the different prompts or the procedures. Within the materials that we shared, there is a PDF that shows how to download R. So all the procedures that I've talked about, you can easily go through them and then see until when you see that R is downloaded on your computer. Personally, I'm not going to download it again because I have it already, but that is the easiest procedure that we can use to download R on our computers. Like any other app that you want to install, or any program that you want to install on your computer. The moment you get the installation file, you follow the prompts until when you reach till when they tell you finish, and then you stop there. So I'm going to pause a little bit. I check in the chat and then see if that procedure is okay. And I'll give you, for example, like 2 minutes to see that you've managed to install R on your computers.
Participants, it's important for you to follow the process because this is a practical process. You need to install R so that you are able to do the next stages. Otherwise, it's not listen, then practice sometime later. We have to go gradually and be together with you. So please do follow the stages. In case you're encountering any issue, please do ask the trainer so that you can be helped.
Thank you so much for that, Professor Anthony. We have the Q&A section. In case you have anything that is not clear yet, you can just type in. My colleagues will be able to answer you. I'm seeing there are some comments that installed successfully. R is already installed, but not up to date. One of the procedures, like I mentioned, if you have to use an updated version, is to download a newer version again. In case you're having, for example, R 4.3, please kindly go ahead and install a new version. Or as we push ahead into the training, I'm going to show you the different commands that you can use also to update R automatically. But for now, I want us to go to be on the same page with everyone. Okay, downloading the newer version. That is great. Done successfully. I need to get more people in the chat telling me that they have successfully downloaded R and they've been able to put it on their computers. Okay. Great. Like I mentioned, within the Google materials that we sent, all these procedures are there. But what I've showed you practically, it's very simple. If you open the installation file, you keep clicking and then you install on your computers. All right. Cynthia, we're going to move on to see how to update a new version. I'll show you how to do that. In case you're having both versions on your computer, it's always good that you use the latest one. You can overwrite the old one. Okay. All right, so can we continue? Type yes if we can move on. Okay. All right. Put the questions in the Q&A, because in the chat, when they send in information, it tends to run very fast and sometimes we can skip it. All right, so after getting R on your computer, that is
Dr. Helen, there are around 4 or 5 people who have just joined. Give them 3 minutes to download R and they install on their laptops. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you. So maybe I can repeat the procedure again for if there is somebody who missed. I said that what you need to do is that when you launch your Google, okay, after clicking on Google, all you need to do, like I mentioned, there are different ways on how to install R, but most of the time, it's always good to use the simplest. Why should we go in for the complicated one? Of course, different people do it differently. So you just type download R. Okay, and then you enter. After that, you're going to come up with this window. And most of the time, the moment you click down, the moment you want to download R, it will always give you the latest version. And if you do not know that you're using an older version, you just need to do that and then compare with what you have already. Because with the updated versions, they keep including in different packages with the latest, with the different data sets that we really need when doing the analysis. So you click on download the latest version, which is 4.4.0. And after that, you move to this first line, which has download R 4.4.0 for Windows. If you click on it, it's going to give you the installation file that you can use to install R on your computer. Like any programming language, we do the installation the same way. We just need to get the installation file and then you follow the prompts until when you get to the finish. I already have R on my computer, so I don't want to install it again. And I'm using the latest version. Okay. Hope those that had lagged behind, we are now on the same page. Downloaded successfully. After downloading, please install. Don't just stop on downloading. After getting the installation file, then install on your computer. We need to have those two successfully done. Download and install. Okay, I've already installed that and RStudio. Wonderful. All right, so having done that, we are going to move on now to get RStudio. Remember, we first downloaded R. We need that too. The moment we have the two on our computers, now we're going to dive in and and then understand how do the two work. But let's first get everything on our computer and then we'll see. So I'm going to go back.
Ellen,
yes,
Ellen, somebody's asking for Mac.
okay. We can still say download R for Mac. The other one was just for Windows. And then you come and click here. Okay, install R and then RStudio for Mac. Like any, you just need to specify, is it for Windows? Is it for Mac? And then also you get the installation file. And when you take some time, you see that even the procedures for the case of the Mac, they are, you have guidance on how you're going to install R for Mac ASS, and then you just keep reading, then download R. After that, then, you click, after getting the installation file, you repeat the same procedures until when you see that you've got the app on your computer. So we still have all the guidelines that you can use even if when you're having a Mac computer, and it will show you that has been successfully downloaded, and then you have to install again. Okay, so with this particular page, we are seeing how to download R for Mac, and then also we need RStudio because we need both of them. So for one, you can click here, install R, and then RStudio for Mac. This one is going to give you the first group used install R for Windows. So in case you want to install R and then RStudio for Mac, then this is going to be the route that we're going to use. Please feel free to interrupt. It will be good for me to see that everyone is on the same page, so I have no problem with that. Okay. Now, I'm going to move on, and then I write download. I want to download RStudio because I need both of them. So when I write download RStudio, it gives me RStudio for desktop. I can come and click here. I click this particular, when I click at this particular point, this is the page I'm going to come up with for RStudio desktop. And then I scroll down. When I scroll down, you see it is showing me here, install RStudio, and then download RStudio desktop for Windows. You can click at this particular, in this blue button. And this is the latest version. Also, for those with the old version, you have to check that the RStudio that you're using is the latest version. We are going to see, as in the next discussion, that R is an open source language. You don't need to pay for it. Anyone can use it, but you have to make sure that most of it, since it's an open source, they keep developing it. So you need to ensure that you're using the latest version and have all the packages that are required. So if you click on download RStudio for RStudio desktop for Windows, if you click on this particular button, it will still going to give you an installation file that you need. The moment you get an installation file, you do the same like the way you did for R. All right? So you still follow the prompts, you double click on it, then it will ask you, do you allow this program to install on your computer? You say yes, and then continue. I already have it on my computer, so I don't want to do that. In case you don't want to click this button, you can still scroll down, and then you come here where we have a download for Windows. And then for those that are having the Mac computers, you can click on this second one here. So all the procedures are just are easy to follow, and then you also do the same procedure and install RStudio on your computer. Any question on that? Let me check in the chat. As I give you some time to install RStudio. After downloading, please run the installation file on your computer. Okay, Peter is asking, why would somebody need RStudio yet already has R on the system? All those questions are going to be answered, but for now, let's have the two, and then we see how they work out. Before the end of today's training, you're going to understand why we need both, why we need to download both R and then RStudio, and what is the difference between the two. Gladys is asking how to update. The first simple procedure on how to update is to download manually and overwrite the old version. This is the procedure I'm showing. If you can do that, and then the latest version will overwrite the old one. The other option, I'm going to show it later as we are moving on, where we are using the commands. I don't want to jump into that part. I want us to move on the same pace. In case you have a question, that kindly go into the Q&A, and then my colleagues will be able to give you an answer. Okay, so can you type, in case you're done with installing RStudio and then R, can you type done, and then I see how far we are. Okay, some are saying not yet on the same page. We need to have both R and then RStudio. Okay. I'm going to repeat the same procedure again. Like I mentioned, within the day one materials, how to download and install R and then RStudio, there is a PDF that highlights all these particular steps that you can follow for you. In case maybe you feel you've lagged behind and you're failing to catch up the steps very fast. Already the material is within the materials for day one, we can do that. I'm going to do it one more time, and then we continue. Okay. When you go to Google, all you need to do, you just need to type in download. You just need to type in download RStudio. R is capital and then studio. If you click on that, usually when the window opens, the first thing that you see, like we saw with R, that was the latest version. Also, we can click RStudio desktop. If you click on that, it's going to open a new window, which looks like this. And here, you just need to scroll down. If you can see on this page very well, what they did, number one, is to install R, which we did already, okay? But with this one, if you're very keen, you're seeing that we are having R 3.6.0 plus. That's why we use the other method of getting the latest version. So after that, number two, we are installing RStudio. With the RStudio, you can come and click in this blue button. The moment you click on the blue button, you're going to see an installation file within your download section. You give it some few minutes, it downloads, and then follow the prompts of installing. Or you can scroll further down and come here. Here we've got an extension .exe that still, if you click on it, you're going to get the installation file for those with Windows. In case you're having a Mac, you can click on this second one, then also follow the same prompts of installing, of installation on your computer. Those are the simple procedures. We need both R and then RStudio. Okay. I'm going back to the chat again. and see how far we are, and then we continue. We get to the next step is going to be, I mean, what are these two used for? What is R? What is R RStudio? And somebody is saying that we forgot to inform our participants they need to have a good internet connection. Maybe just to answer that, with the R programming language, you only need internet when you're installing it on your computer, because that is all that you need. The moment it's installed, you don't need internet anymore. You can go and work from anywhere. You can work offline when it comes to our programming language. You only need internet in case you want to update, and even if like you don't want to use the internet, you can use the installer package to update even without when you're updating. That's the only part that you need internet. The moment you've got an updated version, then all what you need to do is to go ahead and do what you want. Okay, so I'm going to continue. Can I continue? Please type yes, and then we go ahead. Okay, great. Let me share my slides again. Okay, so at least for one, we've achieved the first objective, which was downloading and installing R and RStudio. That is tick number one. So now let's continue. Or whatever we are seeing here, the icon for R, it appears like this. And then the icon for RStudio, it is an R inside a big blue circle. That is the RStudio icon. Okay, so now having downloaded and then installed these two, let's briefly just go into and understand what is R. And then initially I say that R is a free statistical programming language. Unlike other programming languages whereby you need to buy and then get a license to use them, when it comes to R, you don't need to pay anything. It is an open source tool that is used for data analysis. And it's a very friendly language. Anyone can use it. You don't need to be really a data analytic glue for you to be able to use R. And you still don't need to be a statistician. All you need to have is to have the attitude that I can learn, because we follow step by step, and these commands, you can reproduce them as we are going to go ahead. And it's one of the popular programming language that has really picked up in the area of data management and statistical analysis, which is being used widely across the globe. And also, somebody might ask, why R? As I say that R is a language when you want to do that analysis. I've already mentioned you need to be a statistician. And one interesting thing about R is that it has easy code. You can easily write the codes and follow them systematically. Okay, and these codes are reproducible. What do I mean by the term reproducibility? Implying that I can write certain codes for my project X, provided I know what these codes are doing. I can still get the same codes and switch them to another project that I'm doing, and then I just edit them accordingly. That is the reproducibility part I'm talking about. So you can, the point is understand your codes, that okay, this particular code implies this. This particular code, when I use this code, this is what I get. Such that when you get another project, or you're working on your thesis, or you're trying to analyze data, you can carry these codes within one project, and then you carry them to the others. Okay, so that is about R. And then when you talk about RStudio, we've downloaded them like R. It's also a free open source but you have to use it with R. Sometimes it's referred to as an integrated development environment that is being used within R. But as we proceed on, we are going to see different features within RStudio. Okay, and then we're going to see different spaces, workspaces that can be applied, the environments where we're going to write our commands. We are going to see the history. We are going to see the packages and also the help space, but just to mention on a few. And then also, the RStudio provides different features where you're using R, and then you're able to manage R very easily. Okay, so what could be the difference? Like someone had a question within the box. So R is a programming language used for statistical computing. Okay, RStudio uses R language to develop statistical programs. R can stand alone. Somebody was saying that, can't I use this particular program independently of RStudio? Yes, you can. But you cannot use RStudio independent of R. You can use RStudio. RStudio must be used alongside our programming language. Why? It's within the RStudio where we're going to write our codes, we save them such that we are able to reproduce them after, which we cannot do when we are having only R, unless if you copy the codes and then you put it within the Word document and save them. But with RStudio, we'll be able to save our codes, save them with an extension of R, and we are able to reopen them again. I think now you can get the difference from those who are wondering, why are we having both R and then RStudio? So R may be used without RStudio, but you cannot use RStudio without R. Okay, let me first pause a little bit and I check in the chat. Are we on the same page? Yes, somebody's asking if there is a recording. The sessions are being recorded, so we will share the links after. Great. So I'm seeing a positive feedback that we are on the same page. That's wonderful. Now let's continue. Okay, so on this particular slide, I'm having different options on how you can install R and RStudio, but I'm not going to go through them. For those that are interested to read about them more, you can check in the slides. So what happens in case you have both R and RStudio? This is how your workplace should look like. Okay, I'm going to pause a little bit within this workplace, and then I'll move on to R. So when all you need to do, go on your computer within the search button and then type RStudio. The moment it pops up, click on it, and then I want us to check, are we having the same workplace like this one? I'm going to stop sharing, okay? And then I want to share my Rs. So in case you put in your search button, if you type in RStudio, remember the icon, it's a capital R within a big blue, but within a big blue circle. So in case you click on it, this is the kind of the workspace I'm expecting you to get. Sometimes when it is your first time to use R, some people come up with only 3 windows, but we can solve that in case somebody has such a particular issue. So what we are seeing is that we've got 4 workspaces. We have the one on the first one on the top on the left. Then we have on your right, we also have another window. And then we have also on right bottom, we have another window, and then I also have another window on my left bottom. So I'm going to first pause. I check in the chat. You let me know, do you have such a workspace at your end? Then after that, I'll be able to just give you a brief explanation of what this workspace is used for. Okay, somebody is saying that I have 3. So for those that are having 3 windows, what you do, you go and click on File, okay? When you click on File, it will bring a drop box, and then you click R script. Then you'll come up with automatically the 4 windows that we are having. That is how quickly you can solve that. If you're having 3 windows only, just click on File. The moment you click on File, what it's going to give you, you click on New. Okay, you click on New File. After the new file, you click R script. That one should be able to give you the 4th window. Yeah, somebody saying, thanks, it worked. Great. Okay, got it. Wonderful. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that got it, done. Yeah, that is how you get the 4th window for those that are having only 3 windows. Okay. Yes, I now have 4 windows. Nice to read these good comments. If you're having 1 window, then it implies you opened R. You need to open RStudio. 1 window will be for only R. Just go in the search button on your computer and type RStudio. The moment it opens up, then R will be embedded inside the RStudio, as I'm going to explain. That is why you're only having 1 window. Alice, don't get worried. We are going to see how to update. Since you already have R on your computer, for now, just follow. When we get to the updating part, then we'll do that as well. Okay, great. So now that we all have the 4 windows, I'm going to just briefly explain what these 4 windows do, and then later we'll come back and start do some simple coding, and then we see how do we really move on. So I'm just looking at this this first window on my end. It's the left, but the upper window. So when you look on top, what we are having, for example, like on up there is RStudio. So we have file, edit, code, view, plot, session, build, profile, tools, help. We need all these particular icons because we are going to use them. For example, when you click on file, what happens is that you see a drop box, like new file, open file, all this. For now, we'll just consider what we want to use, okay? So for example, in case you want a new R script, all you need to do, go to new file, and then you click R script. The moment you click on it, you should be able to see something like untitled 2. That is an open script, or like an open, like blank Word document, if I'm to put it in that language, but within R, we call it a script. So if you open it, it's gonna be blank, and then you will see that there is a prompt. It is asking you where we'll be typing all our commands. So within this particular, the first window, that is an area where we're going to write all the commands. And then we'll be able to save them. It's the reason why I say we need RStudio, because it makes us to save our work very easily using the save command. All right. So as we move along, I'll show you how we are going to use all these different icons. For example, within the session, we're also going to see how to set the working directorate and all that. Okay, that is, of course, like when you're learning a language, you pick it as time. You need the steps, and then later, as you're practicing, you tend to master all that you need. When you come to now I'm moving on again to my right top window, which shows that environment is empty. So under here, we see that within this particular environment, what is going to support us is that as we import our data, you've gone to the field, collected data, you have data within your Excel sheet, or within, you need to import it into R for analysis. We are going to see if our data has been successfully imported through this particular window. You can check the history in case you have some codes or some work that you've been working on, Of course, me, I've been using R, so there's a lot of stuff, but in case you haven't used that, then it's gonna be empty. For those that want some tutorials, you can click on the tutorial section to also show you some bits of things that you can do. You just need to click on each and then do some extra reading on your own. Okay, I'm moving on to the other window on my left, but the bottom window where it has got R 4.4.0. This is the R programming software that we first downloaded. So under here, we see the console. So what is going to happen in this particular window? Whatever command we write up here within the RStudio, if we run it, the output, we are going to see the output executed down here within the R console. Let me just give an example, but I want to go into that. For example, in case you say, for example, 2 + 2, okay, and I want to see the results. I just need, after writing that, I come and I run here. If I run that line, for me to see my output, I go to the R console. And I'll be able to see my output telling me that, well, if you get to 2 + 2, when you check it down, my result is 4. So all the outputs, our results, we'll be seeing them in this particular window. Then in the fourth window, this one, it has got like plots, whatever plots that we'll do, for example, the histogram, the pie chart, the bar charts, all interesting visualization as we are going to learn within this particular week. We'll be able to see them in this particular window. And then also we are going to learn about packages. How do we introduce packages within R? We also have the help window. R has got an inbuilt documentation that can support you to learn something in case you're not so sure about how to use a particular command. And that we'll see it within the help window, etc. So I'm going with this one. That is briefly what how the 4 windows work, but it will be more interesting as we dive in to see how do we really put in different things that we need. Okay. In case you still have a question on something that's not yet clear here, please post it in the Q&A and then you'll get the answer. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing on this and then I share my slides again. Great. So we finished this part. I've written go to R just as a guide within the presentation. So we've done that. Now, for those people who wanted to know how do we update R, we've already done the first bit. You can, like I mentioned, you can reinstall it. You can install again with the procedure that we looked at the first time. That is the first part. Like I mentioned, solution number 1, manually install. Go to the website, download RStudio, follow the prompts. After that, restart. Okay, you need to close and then restart your RStudio. And then automatically, you'll see the new version. In case you don't use this version, which is the simplest, of course, by the time you say you want to update, it implies that you have some prior knowledge within R or you've used it before. So the latest version, it has, I think we've seen it within the R console. It's supposed to appear like this, okay? You'll see R 4.4.0. This is the latest version that you need to have. Okay, and we see this within our workspace that is on the bottom side on your left. Also, in case you don't want to use the other option number 2, we can go and we can install R package. For those that they want to update, you need to install the install R package. After that particular package, I'm speaking this, implying that by the time you want to update, it implies that you've used R before somehow. Well, I might not know the extent, but I think the language of installing package, I believe you know it. After installing package, then you load using the library command, the install R package. And after that, you write on the next line, update R, then in bracket, and then you you run, okay? You click the run button, and then after clicking it, you wait for R to tell you if it has been updated successfully. We can still do the same for the case of, for those that are using Mac. You can still also update your R version using the same command. In case after running the library, install R, and then update R, what happens after some time, it could be like some few minutes, you're going to come up with this particular window, okay, that R has been successfully updated. And it will, for my case, if after running, it will tell you that no need to update, that you're already using the latest version of R. Okay. Any question on this, or I can continue? I can still show it to you when we get to within the practice of R, but for now I'm going to stop here, and then we go back on the same page. All right, you can also update RStudio. In case you've got RStudio that is not up to date, this is how you do it. It is very easy. You can go to help and then check for updates. And the moment it is okay, you're using the latest version, it will tell you you are using the latest version of RStudio. Okay, let me first stop sharing this, and then I briefly go back on, I briefly share the R just to, okay. So I'm back here. I never wanted to, for those that are not updating, just give me a little time, and then we get other people that need to update R, and then we move on, because it is the same thing that we are going to do. Okay. I'm going to, okay, for those that who wants to update R, you go to your R. We do everything in the first window up here. We need to install packages. I'm going to explain about installing packages as we move on. For those that are using R for the first time, R has got different associated packages that we tend to use. And these packages, R has over 1 million packages, but you do not need all the 1 million packages to work on your computer. You just need to understand, what do I want to achieve? The moment you get to know what you want to achieve, then you install a particular package just to support you to do that particular analysis that you want. And you might find that at the end of the day, for example, you might need like only 3 packages. We are going to see that in more details. And when we are installing packages within R, we use what we call the install.packages command. Okay, still I'm going to do that in more details, only that we want to ensure that those that want to update, they know what to do. So after installing the install R package, you need to load this particular package, the same package, because you need to use it. When you run that library using the library command, so this is how it looks like. We always have the install.package. This is how the command looks like, install.packages, and then within the open brackets, we'll be putting our packages. And after every installation, you need to load. You're loading the package because you need to use it. We use what we call the library. We use the library command. And then within the library command, you load the package that you've installed. So for example, in this particular case, I have that, and then I load this particular package. I need to run it. If I run, we said all the output comes in the R console, and then you come and run line number 4, update R. The moment you run line number 4, if you click on run, you have to give it some time, And then later, it will tell you that, well, you are using, it will tell you that it has updated, or it will tell you if you're using the latest version. For example, what I was sharing earlier, as when you look in the R console, we are seeing a red button here. It implies that it is executing within the background the command that you've told it to do. So you have to wait for it until when this command is complete, or what you've commanded it to do is complete, and then the red button will disappear.
Dr. Helen?
Yes,
there are
please.
some people who are lost, so maybe you may have to tell them what you've been teaching about installing R. Please, can you repeat?
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Come on installing or on updating?
Both of them.
Okay. Let me pause. Let me stop sharing this, and then we'll go back briefly. Okay. Start from after installing. Share screen. All right, let me share my okay. Here we are. Let me just go back briefly from what we I mentioned that in case for you to be able to use our programming language and then RStudio, you need, number one, you go to internet, you just type in download R. It will always give you the latest version. What we're using right now, it's version R 4.4.4.0. The moment you get the installation done, the moment after the download, you get an installation file which you run on your computer such that the program is installed on your computer. After that, we move on to RStudio. We do the same steps. Go in Google and type install RStudio. Okay, and then the moment you open that particular window, it will open, and then you click the blue button which has got RStudio. Or you can, like the way I showed, you can move downwards, and then you get also the installation file. If that one is not clear, within the materials, there are also some other links that you can use if you want to do the downloading and then installation. Those are two things that you need in the first place. You download, then you execute the installation file on your computer. For you to launch to see if you've successfully installed R, go into your search button and then type in RStudio. Then you click on it. It should launch for you the four windows. If you only have one window, it implies that you clicked on the RStudio shortcut. That's why you're only having one window. Okay, so that was the relevancy of this particular point. We looked at the why, how, what both are, what is the difference between the two, and then the workspace, the four workspaces that we have. If you launch RStudio and you're only having 3 windows, for you to get the 4th window, all you need to do, go up and click File, and then New File. It will take you to an R script. If you get there, when you click on it, the 4th window should appear, and you'll have a workspace like this one. Okay, now there are some people who already have R, but they're not using the latest version. I said we can update R. How do you update? There are different options. The first one is to do, like a new person, you install and then it will overwrite on what you have on your computer, which is the easiest. And then the second step, so when you go to update R, this is the first step. Okay, what I explained earlier, and then you should be able to see this version, the latest version of R. Otherwise, you can still use the commands, because by the time you say that you want to update, I have this particular feeling that you've used R before. To what extent, I don't know, but at least you know the language of installed packages, library, and then we can also type the update R. That is those are the commands that you need to have a latest version. And in case the commands have been successfully executed, then at the end of the day, this is what you're going to see. The moment you run the update R, it will tell you that everything has been updated now. You are using the latest R version. So as you're updating, for you to know that, yes, now I'm good to go, you need to see this particular window. It's what I was telling you that when I open my R, that you don't click stop, then it will stop itself automatically and it will show you this particular window. It will pop up. Professor Susan, I don't know if that recap is enough.
Yes, Dr. Helen, I don't see any more comments in the chat. It
Okay.
appears people are okay. Maybe find out from the participants how they feel about the recap.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too. In my RStudio. Okay, are we on the same page? Okay, for me, that's good enough. All right. Okay, let's continue. At least let's ensure that before the session ends, we've picked the moment you understand today's work that we are doing, everything is going to be based on what you've learned today. So you really need to get to know what we are doing and what R is all about. All right, I'm going to continue now. So after having R updated, you can also update RStudio in case you don't want to do the downloads and what. And the procedure is very simple. You go to the help, and then after help, you click check for updates. And then after clicking on that, it will show you if you're using the latest RStudio or not, and then it will update for you automatically. Okay. I mean, like I mentioned, there are different procedures. There are many ways on how you can really do this, how you can really update RStudio. But you always need to pick what works for you, or what you think it's easy for you and easy to remember. So this is also another option you can check within the materials. I'd put go to R, that's where we are, such that I was just demonstrating to show you how it works. I hope this is okay now. Okay, great. I want to move on now on another objective I want us to achieve today. Okay, installing R packages and loading installed packages, which I've just touched a little bit. Okay, so we are going to see how to install packages using the install.packages command. The moment you install a package, you have to load it. And the moment, if you have your packages, when after installing, with installation, you need internet. But the moment you load your packages, you don't need internet anymore. That's why I'm saying that after that, after getting the right packages, you can work anywhere that you want without having the internet connection. So let's see, how do we achieve this? Okay. I mentioned that R has got different associated packages that you can use. But what is most important is that you need to find out what kind of analysis are you going to do, because they've got over 1 million packages. You just need to know, like, okay, I need this because it's going to support me to do this. And you might find that within a whole project, you might need like 4 packages or even 5 or even 1, depending on what you want to do. Okay. So there are different ways on how to install packages, like any programming language. Now, for us to install packages within R, we can use the install.packages command. And then inside the bracket, you type in the package that you want. Of course, there are various options. Someone can go to tools and then install packages. You can go to, I'll show you all these particular options, but for those that want to practice, you can also go through this. You can install multiple packages at the same time, etc. One of the packages, for example, ReadXL. If you use this, if you use this particular package, it is going to help you to read the Microsoft Excel files. So in case your data is saved as an Excel, then it implies that, oh, I need to install the ReadXL package. We are going to see the Tidyverse package. It's going to support us in data manipulation. Also, then we are going to see the dplyr. I'm only going to introduce you to only the most important packages for now that are going to support us just for today's session. But as we move on, you're going to see that we're going to we'll keep building on different packages as we move on, because you just need to install what you want and then leave out the rest. What is important here is to pick the command. What command do you need to use? Install the packages. Inside the bracket, we put the package. For example, we can use ReadXL. I'm going to go to R and then demonstrate that. On this particular example, after installing the package that you want as step number 1, step number 2 is you need to load those packages using the library command. You type library within our RStudio, then in the bracket, you type in the package that you want. Okay? Because if you don't load these libraries, you'll be getting errors within the R console. Sometimes it will tell you that, for example, maybe you want to do to run a summary of a given variable. It might tell you that we don't see summary. The moment you see such errors, what should come at the back of your mind? It implies that somehow, somewhere, there is a library that you missed, because all these functions, all the codes that we are going to use, they are backed up by these libraries that I'm talking about. So you load the library, the Tidyverse, which is going to support us in data manipulation. Some of these packages are nested in others, the ReadXL, and then the dplyr, etc. We are going to see a few of them as we move on. This particular slide talks about the help that we need. I will still elaborate more. Sometimes within R, you might not be so sure of what you want on how to use a particular command. But like I mentioned earlier, R has a help window whereby it has got an inbuilt documentation that can support you to read. And when you're seeking help, you can use the help command, or you can type a question mark on what you want on. Here I said help on the main, implying that I don't know, I want to know how to use the main, but I need to know the command, I need to know the different arguments that are there, and then get to know how do I use them, okay? Maybe I want to know about ANOVA, analysis of variancy. How does it work? I want to know about the t-test. Some of you are talking about, you want to know how to use a t-test. You want to know how to use a chi-square. Or still, you can use the help command to support you do that. I'm going to illustrate more when we get to when I get to the practice. So for example, when you type help main, you're going to come up with this particular window. It will show you the description of how the command is of what the command is. It will tell you the usage that, okay, we use the main, that is the command. And then inside, there are different arguments that you can put. And it doesn't stop there. It goes further to explain to you what all these arguments inside are used for and what they mean. So you just need to take some little time to understand how they work, and then later you apply on your same work. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and then go back to R, okay? And then we see how do we do this. Okay. Yeah, maybe like I mentioned, when I run it, it's telling me that I'm using already the latest version, the window that I told you. So I've just crossed out that. It will tell you that you're using the latest version. So when you check in the R script in the materials that we sent, there is del1.r script. So what happens within that particular, within that, we are going to see how do we install our packages. So I'd written like step number 1, we are going to install the tidyverse package. And this one is for data manipulation, and it also makes the codes more readable. We are going to use the read XL. With this one, it supports importing data in R, especially the ones that is served as .xlsx. And then the dplyr, it's still nested within the tidyverse, but it also supports in different data manipulation and operations. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open a new file, which I already have, and then I'm going to work with this one. For example, here I've got install package, and then all you need to do to type in, for example, tidyverse. I already have it on my computer. And then I also want to install.packages. Like you can install them at a go, or you can install them differently. And then I want to install read XL. Okay. And then the other packages was install.packages. Okay, as you type in, you'll see that, for example, a window will appear which has got packages, and then you'll have to this one is this is the package that I want to install. Okay. So what you can do, you can come and run after each command. For example, install.packages tidyverse, you come and run here. Okay. The moment you run, these particular packages, of course, now for me, it is showing me that I already have the packages. I already have the package installed, but that is the procedure that you need to do. And then also you need to install read XL. Besides each, you run, okay? And then the other one, which is the dplyr, you also click run. Remember, after installing those packages, you need to load them. So I want to load tidyverse. I already have the packages installed, so I don't need to install again. And then I run library. This one is read XL. And then also library. Kindly work on your end. I'm going to cross-check with you. And then I write dpl that. So then I'll just highlight everything, and then I run. And then if I will see if they're being successfully loaded, I see them in my console. So let me check with you before I proceed. When you're installing, of course, there are different approaches, but most of the time, this is the best one that we can start with. Let me check in the chat. Has anyone succeeded in installing? We only need this packet, 3 packages for now. Peter is saying yes. Wonderful. Okay, I need to see more people. We are using install.packages command. That is the command that we are using. And for now, let's only install the 3 packages. Like I explained, the tidyverse, the read XL, and then the dplyr. Can you redo the installation? Kindly repeat the process again. We are using the install. Kindly open your RStudio, open R, launch R, and then after launching it, you go to your first window, which has RStudio on top, and then type install.packages. Okay, if you type install.packages, this is the command we need. The command I've highlighted is what we need as our code for installing packages. Okay. So, and then inside the brackets, for example, we can type readxl. readxl is the package I need to install on my computer because I do not have it. The moment you click on it, you go and click the run button up there. You give it some time to install. You see the results in the R console. If it is, and I encourage you to read these comments, okay? In case you see maybe when you check in the R console and it is giving you some red writings, or most of the time we think that the reds are errors, but it doesn't, it's not the same always. What you can do, you need to read the comments that is showing you. Maybe it can tell you that this package is missing. You need to install it. Whatever the program tells you, if it tells you, for example, you need to install RTools, you do the same thing. You go and say, install the packages. And then later, you put in whatever package they have guided you to do, and that should be enough for you then to proceed. That is how we solve the errors as we move on. And share the exact code you wrote. Check in the day1.r. You can actually go, we shared this material already, you have it at your end. Just go and click day1.r. That R is an extension to tell you that it's a script. It has got codes that are developed within R. So go to the moment we sent a folder which has got day1 material. Okay, get that folder, put it on your desktop. Then after putting it on your desktop, you can double click the day.r script, and then it will open within your R. Okay, I'm just writing in a different script just to give you an illustration, but this is how it looks like. And what I did, this is the installation part, which is there. Okay, I wrote step number 1, install packages. Okay, for now we need these 3. And then after running them, if they are installed, you need to load them. So the moment you highlight, or you can still load one by one, each line that you click on, you run it. Hope that is clear. So can I check in the chat? Have we successfully installed and loaded the libraries? In case you're lost, please type the question in the Q&A, and then you'll get an answer. You don't need to get discouraged at the first day of the training, because you need the energy till the end, and we can't lose the energy on the first day. Okay. Someone has a comment like RTools is required to build R package, but is not currently installed. Like I've mentioned, read these comments, okay? And they're telling you, please download and install the appropriate version of RTools before proceeding. The other option would be, in case you get such a comment, you can also copy it and then paste it in Google. Like we mentioned, R is an open program. So it implies that somebody else has already encountered that particular challenge that you're seeing. You are not the first person. and it already has a solution. So you can still type into Google, and then they'll tell you, okay, for you to solve this, this is what you need to do. In case you have the RTools challenge, do A, B, C, and D. And before you know it, you're good to go. Please read the comments. It doesn't mean that necessarily that they are threats, but they're just to help you to follow through the program.
Dr. Helen,
Yes,
can you please recap loading and installing packages? It seems some people are lost, some people have run their packages without installing them, and they are getting errors.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you too. Somebody saying, but I'm seeing red writings. That should not scare you. Like I mentioned, you need to read the red writings and see what are they saying. They're just helping you, like, how can you solve such an error? Okay. And it will be exciting if you solve an error, like, yes, I've gotten that one, so I can keep on. I can hang on and proceed. Somebody is saying that is not easy on my side. Stephen, don't lose hope. We are getting there. We need that energy throughout. Okay. All right. Let me recap again. How do we install? If you see the red writings, please don't get scared. Just read them and see what do they mean. Sometimes it's just like they're guiding you on what is required, such that you don't see those red writings again. Okay, because we are not going to be able to import our data into R unless we know the right packages to use, or unless we install the required package, okay? And after that, other bits will be very easy. How do we do that? We use the install.package command, which I was illustrating here, okay? Just go in this window and type install, okay, install. As you're typing, you see another window popping up, like it is, which is going to guide you. And then you put the packages, okay? So you can click on the blue, the one that's highlighted in blue. And then you can see it is still blinking, like, I mean, what it is, you need to type within the open brackets, you type in the windows that you want. So here, you type in the package. For example, I said tidyverse. Okay, let me do one with you. So after typing in tidyverse as the package that you need, the next thing should be click at the end of the code and then click run, okay? And give it time. As you click run, you need to, your eyes should be in the R console, because remember we said within the R console, that's where we see our outputs, okay? It will run, and then at the end, it will tell you downloaded successfully. You go to the second one, you give it time to run, and then if it has been installed successfully, you'll be able to see that particular part. Okay. What about, let me put, for example, read Excel, okay? Let me run. It's just to show you what you're supposed to do. If you run, you click the run button here. If you run that line, of course, at my end, it is showing me that this package is already installed. It will tell you that you've already installed that thing prior to that. So I can say, it is showing me that the package is already in use at my end. But in case it is not installed, it will still show you, okay? the moment it shows you that it has been successfully downloaded, then installed, you click the you go to the library. You go to library, which is, and then you type in the same package that you installed, and then you click run. If it has been successfully installed, if you click the run button, when you come to the R console, you see that you will not have any error. Okay, let me pause again in the chat. Can we move on? What if the package is located in GitHub? Yeah, in case the package is located in GitHub, you can still, GitHub will give you the procedure that you're supposed, you can still go and download it from there. Click download, and then it will download automatically within your RStudio. So GitHub should not really be an issue. Or even still in the GitHub, it will show you that it was developed by so-and-so, and then after you can copy the particular link and then bring it into your RStudio and run the link, and then it will then automatically it will be installed on your within R. Okay, can I continue? Please type yes. Okay. In case you still have an issue, you can take some time later, and then Professor Susan, we have 3 minutes to end, so kindly.
Yes, we have 3 minutes to time. Ask the participants if they still can give us 30 more minutes. We can continue and end at 5:30, but if not, then we can stop.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. As per the program, we are supposed to end at 5 East African time. So is it okay if we proceed? Can you give us more 30 minutes, or we'll stop and continue from there tomorrow?
Also, Dr. Helen, ask them if we can start earlier 2 instead of 3, because it's such a short time from 3 to 5. We will not cover enough material for them. So if they can give us an hour before, then we'll end at 5 exactly.
Okay, so like we start at 2 to
yes,
5.
2 to 5, if possible. Find out. Thank you.
Okay. Please also check in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of answers coming in. Some are saying that we start at 2:30, we end at 5:30. Okay.
And today they've allowed 30 minutes extra. So we really thank you, participants. Thank you for understanding. And we are going to communicate to management that we can start at 2 tomorrow. So please log in by 2, but we will not start immediately at 2, so long as other people have not joined. So if we get a good number, like 800, then we start at maybe 2:30. But we'll be available by 2.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. And we can still, since they have got WhatsApp group, we can still communicate, and then we get your side before we resume tomorrow. But tentatively, we can start at that time. All right. Okay. Now, let's stop typing about the timing. The communication has been noted. So I want to go back. Can you type yes if you
Dr. Helen,
yes,
about registration, I'm requesting Amitu David to send a link for registration so that participants can register. Thank you very much. I think he's online. He will send the link for registration.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, can you type for me yes if you've successfully installed and loaded the 3 packages? That's what I want to see. If you've successfully installed and loaded the 3 packages, Tidyverse, ReadXL, then dplyr. The moment, if you have achieved that target, it implies that you install all the packages that you need in your project, because it's the same procedure. You don't need anything more. Whichever way, how you want to install packages, that is the way that you're going to do about it. Sometimes also, when you're installing, you might get packages because you're not using the updated version. It can also bring an error, okay? And to tell you, for example, version 4.3.0 doesn't have that particular package, okay? That is the reason as to why we always want to use the updated versions. And in case you have an old version, you install a what? You update to the latest one. Okay, great. All right. Now, that target has been achieved. Then the other part that I want to illustrate before I go back to the PowerPoints to learn something more, it is about the help command. We said you can use the help command in case you want to learn something. I said you just need to type help, okay? Help is the command. And then inside, type in whatever that you want to help on. Initially, I said I want help on min, okay? Then after that, you click the run button. If you click the run button, when you come on your right bottom window, the help window is going to open. And then it will give you all the different content that you need to read about to support you to understand what you really want to work on. First, it will tell you the description of what it is. It will tell you the usage. And then within the usage, for example, to tell you min, and then in the bracket, the different arguments that you need to type in, for example, here. And then after that, it goes ahead to explain to you what each argument does. That's why I say that R is friendly, okay? You type in everything. It also gives you examples, like, okay, this is how you can use it. You can go through the examples, and then after that, now you go back to your work and see how to apply it. Okay. If you don't want to use help, you can type a question mark. Okay, you can type a question mark, and then after the question mark, you can type, for example, what do you want to ask about? I say, I want to know about ANOVA. Or I can say help ANOVA, or I can say question mark t-test, anything that you want to inquire about. And then after that, you go back and click on the run button. You come back in the help window. It will tell you all about ANOVA tables. It will give you a description. It will tell you the usage. How do you use the ANOVA command? It will tell you the different arguments that you need to do. It will give you even some of the other things that you can look at to support you to understand the command that you're looking at. Okay, I'm gonna stop here and then go back to, if you want to save what you've done, there is this button here. You can click the save, and then you save to the folder, any folder that you need. It will ask you, where do you want to save your work? So you can save it in the folder that you put on your desktop or in your documents, and then you can continue. Okay, so.
Dr. Helen?
Yes, please.
Can you talk about RTools in general? What does it do? How do they get it? Thank you.
Okay, let me stop sharing, and then how do we solve issues in RTools? Okay. So, like I mentioned, any language that you want to learn, sometimes you have to put some extra efforts. If you have issues with RTools, for example, all you need to do, you can just go and type RTools. Okay? There's especially people that have got the challenge of RTools, you can type RTools download. So when you come here on the RTools download, it will ask you, because sometimes why it complain about the different RTools, the challenge could be you're not using the latest version, but it's also, it supports different packages when you filter them within R. So since I'm and when you type in RTools download, even if like it's a package, if you don't want to use the install package command directly, you can just come and just type in, for example, type verse download. Okay, that is the package within R. So here we are having, for example, RTools 43 for Windows. We are not using the 4.3 version. We are not using the 4.2 version. So for me, I'm using R 4.4. So for you to solve such a challenge, within the comments, they tell you download RTools. So you write RTools download, you come and check. If you're using R4.3, then you go to that. But since we are using the current version, I'm going to come here on RTools 4.4 for Windows, because this one is compatible with the current version that I'm using. So I'll click on it. The moment you click on it, okay, please follow. We are having RTools 4.4 for Windows, and we need to install. So we need the RTools 4.4 installer. Just come here. We have installing RTools 4.4. Click on this version where I'm putting the hand, okay? So then you click on it. This is how you're going to solve that problem that you're encountering. And then you can still come here and read more about how it does, okay? Because most of the time it is used when you're building different R packages. And the moment you have it, some of these problems where it is going to complain that, this package has not been successfully installed and the RTools will solve all that. So I'm going to click on RTools 4.4 installer. Having at the back of my mind, we are using the latest version of R. So when you click on it, what is going to happen? You're going to go and see you're going to go in your downloads. Within your downloads, it's going to download for you the RTools installation. Okay, you wait for it to download. The moment it downloads successfully, you just follow the prompts. The moment you follow the prompts, like how we are installing R and then RStudio, then you won't see that challenge again. It implies that now, then after, you can rerun the different packages that you wanted to run and check if that problem is solved. Okay, for further reading, you can just come here and see that RTools is only needed for installation of R packages from different sources and also building them from the source. So in case you're having that particular challenge, that is how you're going to solve it. Click the RTools 4.4 installer. After getting that, click on the extension, allow it to install within the R, run the libraries again. You would be in position now to proceed. Professor Susan, is that okay?
Yes, madam. I can see they are busy with WhatsApp. Hopefully participants, you're listening to what Dr. Helen is saying and don't ask the same question that he has already. So let's see in the chat whether you can now use RTools.
Great, sure.
The chat.
Perfect.
Yes. Okay, thank you. That's great. Continue, Dr. Helen.
Okay. The moment that one is done, all the problems should be sorted. Okay? And you should be able to go back and run and see now the libraries, the different packages that you want to run are running properly. Okay, I'm stopping here. In case you encounter the challenge after the training, please, you just need to get that red error or whatever they are telling you, and then you can type it in Google and read just a little bit about it, and then you can be able to apply it in your work. Okay. Back to my slides. I think we've gone through, we've achieved how to install packages, how to load packages. This is the basics that you need for the 4 other days, because for example, if when the webinar was saying, okay, install this package, load this package, you'll be familiar with the language. We've talked about the help command. Now let's move on also to some other things that are interesting. You can use on the basic concepts, you can use R as a programming language. You can, as a calculator. Like you can type within the RStudio 2 + 2, then it will give you an answer, whatever that you want. Okay, we're also going to learn how to assign variables. Okay, you can use R to assign values or variables, whatever that you want. And for us to do that, we always use, you can use an equal sign, or you can use a less, you can use an equal sign, or you can use a less dash sign. For example, you can say x is equal to 2, or you can say your x could be, for example, let's say height, that height is equal to 2, or it's the same as saying x is less dash 2. So within the different codes as you're going to be seeing them, you expect to see a less dash or an equal. The other thing is that R is case sensitive. Most of the programming languages are case sensitive. So if you type capital A, when you're running it to get the output, it should be capital A. If you type A, in a small case, it will give you an error. Something else also we can see about factors, as we're going to see how we can import our data. This part is also among the different data types, very important. For example, we shall see that when you're having a variable that is categorical in nature, R will not understand that it's categorical. So what you need to do, you need to tell R that please read this variable as a factor. And we'll do that using the as factor command. And it's very important that we understand the different levels of measurements within our data set or the data that we've collected from the field. Because the moment you understand the data that you've collected from the field, then it will be easy for you to align it with the analysis that you want to do. Okay, when we talk about categorical variables, for example, I took a general example like level of education, whereby we can have different categories or levels like education, primary, secondary, university, etc., or whatever mention it, or depending on the field of specialization that you are in. Okay, so after this, it is like go to R. I'm gonna first skip this, then I'll do it at a go on the, let me first explain this briefly, then I go back, I'll share the other bit. We also what we call a data frame in R. This simple language, or this in simple terms, a data frame, it's like a spreadsheet. Okay, within a spreadsheet, we put in, within a spreadsheet, you find that we've got rows and then we've got columns, okay? And the columns should be non-empty and then the rows should be unique. For example, when you go out to collect data, depending on whatever software that you're using, you find that you collect data on unique persons or unique fields. And so as you're collecting this particular data, all the row entries have to be unique, depending if they're different individuals of different people, etc. So these are the characters I was talking about. Now, this is just an example that we are going to be using within to understand just a simple basics. this is an example of a data frame or a data set that is within Excel. For example, you find that this is a spreadsheet. I just got a snapshot of a spreadsheet. I've got a Q-score. This is the data. This data was collected from students who are within BVET type of track. That is business, business training, vocational education, etc. So it was looking about financial literacy. So we got their score, that was the Q score, just a brief. Then we also looked at this column has the parents' education. We've got the rank of the student, the year of the student, the age, and then when the age is grouped, and then the sex of the student. So this can look also, it can take an example of the kind of data that you can collect depending on where you got your data from. We've got different rows, we've got different columns. Each column has got a unique variable name, and then different rows are unique for a specific student. Okay. So here we are looking at different levels of measurements. Within the level of measurements, for example, from the previous example that I talked about, you can have like gender, and then under gender, you can specify them as female and then male. We talked about the level of education, that is a variable. And then the different levels, we can refer to them as the output, as the attributes, okay? So this is also another example, which has got another variable, which is party affiliation. It has got the different levels. We are calling the attributes. Sometimes when you're coding, you can code the levels as 1, 2, 3, or you can code them as numericals, or you can leave them the way they are, and then they represent. I will leave them, for example, you just write their attributes, but depending on what you want. Some other people, when they're cleaning their data set, they can use values. Others, they leave them as attributes. Some of the important levels of measurements that we are going to see are the nominal, ordinal, interval, then the ratio. The ordinal, in this particular case, I mean, you don't matter about the ordering of the variable that you're looking at. The order doesn't matter. And an example of an ordinal variable is gender. With the gender that we've just received, somebody's either male or female. Then for example, we can look at the level of education in case, so you can have no education and so on, or educated. When you look at the ordinal, those that the ordinal type of, the rank is very important. Most of the time when you're looking at Likert scales, for example, they can tell you strongly agree, neutral, disagree. We can see a certain order. So in that case, the order matters. And then also other levels, all these things are important when you're capturing your data. Sometimes the interval and the ratio, these are referred to as scales. You could be, maybe you're looking at the temperature, you're looking at the measure of the rainfall. In this particular case, for example, if you take an interval, you can say the distance between point A and B is the same as the distance between B and C. But more details are going to come when we're illustrating them in R. Why are the levels of measurement important? Why is it important for you to know the levels of measurement for the different variables that you're going to consider? Number one, they support you to determine the kind of analysis that you're going to do. Okay, what statistical analysis are you going to apply? If my dependent variable is continuous and my independent variable is also continuous, what analysis am I going to use? Okay, that is why it's important. And then also, apart from telling you the appropriate statistical analysis that you're going to use, it's also going to help you when you want to, on how to interpret the data. That is also very important. Okay. So the next thing is about R scripts and then comments. So I'm not going to go in here. I'm going to just go back into R, and then And then since we have a few minutes left, then tomorrow I'll start on importing data in R. Hopefully we'll do that. Maybe you can also do further reading to simplify the work tomorrow on how do we import data. But I can talk about the R script and then the comments, and then I'll end there. Then also the other parts I want to revisit is here on the how to use the how to assign variables in R. Then I'll stop. Okay. All right. So back to R. So we said that you can assign R, you can assign it. How do we assign variables? I can say that my A is equal to, for example, 23. Okay. When I run A is equal to 23, because it's a variable, R is going to store it. I run it. When I look now within the environment, this A has been stored as 23. Why is it stored? R thinks that, well, you might need to use it again. For example, I can go on the next slide and I say, I can say, for example, my B, for example, is equal to 2. And then in case I run that again, then I can say A plus B, and then I run that line. So since the values for A and B have been stored within R, then I'll be able to come up with the answer. You can also say like A, I can now use capital A is less dash. I'm assigning. I can either use an equal sign or a less dash. And I say this one is equal, for example, to 45. When I run that line, it will show me that, well, capital A is 45. I can say no. I can say, well, my age is less or dash 64. That age is equal to 64. When I run R, it's going to show me that age is equal to 64. I mentioned also, when we are assigning, you can use an equal sign or less dash. The other thing we talked about that ages, we said that R is case sensitive. Okay, if you typed in, for example, in case I used age as capital, and then in case I want to know the result for age, when I use age in the previous one as capital A, it's not going to give me the result. What will show me, it's going to give me an error. If you check in my R console, it is showing me that object age not found, okay? Because it is case sensitive, it doesn't recognize A. What it recognizes in the environment, for it has capital A for age. So that is the part of case sensitive I'm talking about. So you have to ensure that whatever you're doing, in case you see an error, it's always good to read it. And then you're like, okay, what does the error is all about? It's telling me that it's not found. Why is it that it's not found? Then also you check what is within the bracket. Is it in line with what I had earlier? That is the case sensitive part. And then also about the R script, we say that you can have as many R scripts as you can, and you can open and whatever. So what you do, you go to File, New File, and then you click on R script. It will always give you a free script. And then here you type in whatever that you want. Okay. For example, you want to install packages, and the moment your packages are installed, you don't need to install again when you open up a new script. All you just need to do is you just load the libraries, because already these packages are installed on my machine. I don't need to install them again. But what I need to do, each time I open a new script, I need to load them, because they have got the function that I need to work on my within the work that I want to do. So you can type in, if you type that, for you to load it, I mentioned, you can just run, and then you'll see it within the R console. What about comments? How do we develop comments in R? when you want to write a comment in R, all you need to do is to put a slash. And this slash or the lab is going to support you. Like maybe you need time to conceive this particular information. And so what happens, you can say, okay, this particular command is for data manipulation. You can write that this particular, you put a comment. For example, you can say, okay, 2 plus 2, sorry. If I get to the second line and I write 2 plus 2, you can say, you can put a comment and say, this one, on this particular step, I did addition. So when you run this line, all the words that are after the hash, they are inactive. R doesn't read them, implying that you can write your codes and then beside the codes you put notes that will support you to remember. So when you run, for example, line number 2, it will give you the answer 2 plus 2, which is 4, but the additional part, it is just, those are just notes. So that is how we create notes within R. For example, you can create notes and say, maybe you want to say like, okay, I want to write install packages, okay? You're creating notes like install packages in R. It is inactive, and then below that, and then you can write the install command, such that it's like a revision. They hope you to understand. When you write line number 4, it is inactive, you will not see anything as an output. So in case you go back to day 1, where you see that there are slashes, it implies that these are just notes within the what? They're just notes within the file. We created different sections talking about the data set that we are going to use. Oh, this is notes, R doesn't recognize them. Whenever you see a slash, whatever is after, those are just comments. Okay, and then we've gone through all this, and then tomorrow we'll start on how to import data set into R. You can see I've gone ahead to put, for example, load data, then updating R. This like they act as reminders, like, okay, the next step is about updating R. How do I do it? These are the commands that I need to do. Okay, the other step is that I need to install packages. How do we install packages? This is what is being done. All right. Professor Susan, I want to stop here and then get everything back to you. And hopefully we've achieved some of the concepts, the new concepts we wanted to have today, and we can start from there tomorrow. Back to you, Susan. Thank you.
They do it. Thank you very much, Dr. Helen. Thank you, participants, for being patient with us. Tomorrow, let's try to be log on at 2 so that we have enough time to share material with you. And the Google link will always be updated with new information. So you don't need another Google link. The same link will be used for uploading new material and data sets that we'll be using. Unless if my colleague Thomas has anything to say, I think thank you so much, Dr. Helen, and the participants. You've been great. And tomorrow, please practice when you go home. Don't just close the computer.
YouTube channel.
Okay, there's also a YouTube channel where this recording has been put, so you can consult the recording in case you came late and you couldn't follow. Please go to the Forum YouTube channel and you'll be able to access what Dr. Helen has taught today and be able to follow tomorrow. If you've not installed the R and RStudio, RTools, please do it at night so that tomorrow you're ready to receive more new information. The faster we move and accurate, then the better. Thank you so much. I hand over to Amitu, our co-host. Are you online, Amitu? Prof. Majaliwa?
I'm there, yes.
Okay, thank you. I hand over to you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Susan and team, for this nice introduction. I think you deserve the colleagues from, I don't know they will do it, but at least they need to say thank you for this 2.5 hours passed together on this introduction. So colleagues, we have agreed that we start at 2 tomorrow. Our team will adjust the timing on the registration so that people can start exactly at 2. So I've seen a number of appreciation coming from the participant. So for today, thank you again, Susan. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Ellen. Let's meet tomorrow. And thank you to all the participants. Let's meet tomorrow at 2. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, participants. Bye, Helen. Bye, Thomas. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
See you
bye.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Helen, I can't see you smile. Bye-bye. You better come back.
Quickly.
Okay, bye. Good night. Oh, good day, Helen.
Mine is still on. It's just 9:32 here.
Okay.
Now, yeah.
Let me go for breakfast. Bye.
Okay, bye. We are going for supper.
Oh,
Okay.
for us, we are going for supper. Helen is going for breakfast. That's good. Sorry, we wake you up very early in the morning. Sorry.
Yeah.